Good afternoon, this is Ron Brown. This is my Friday afternoon video. It's more order flow and context, but I'll just be talking about that as I go through some stocks. I'm really going to talk today about intraday money flow and prospecting, some scans that I have in my Insider Club files. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. As always, remember the market is your teacher. Any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. If you're not using the software, you should. If you want to be able to do what I'm showing in this video, just go to High Growth Stock Investor. Right up here, highgrowthstock.com. I do have a PDF file at hcsinvestor.com/context charts.pdf, which I've been referring to as I've been doing these videos over the last several weeks. Now what you're seeing here is a test video that I recorded, and when you watch these videos, I'm recording these in 4K so I can get more information on the screen, and I want you to be able to read it. So if you this is playing in a browser, and the settings for the YouTube videos are down here. There's a wheel down here at the bottom. Let's bring up you can see this right here. That wheel allows you to set the quality. Down at the bottom, I've got it on auto. I've actually got it on, let me do that again. Get this out of the way, okay. I've got it set on 4K, but if you use any of these high definition settings, you should be all right. But if you're viewing in these resolutions, everything's going to look terrible. So pick the highest resolution you can when you're playing back, and it'll be sharp. Okay, I'll get that out of the way and get started. There's only a few minutes left in the market day, about seven minutes. I'm just going to go in here and we'll see what the industries are doing today. I'm clicking on my tools menu, and I'm going to rebuild these. And then I'm going to talk about some of my intraday scans. I'm rebuilding the industries. I think I clicked on the wrong thing before, but you can see that the industry groups are being rebuilt right now. Now I'll get the designer out of the way. I'll bring up my quick pick, and the scans I'm looking at today are under my name, and there are two folders here. These are my favorite daily prospecting scans, end of day and intraday, and then here is a full inventory, which I also use. But for intraday prospecting, I use this folder right here primarily. And I'm going to bring it up, and I'm in all securities. You can see that up here in the upper left. If I click on this, you can see the sort is on industries up. So this sorts, when I use raw combo sort, the industries that are up the most go to the top. Now there are only a couple of stocks in this industry, and one of them I believe was bought out today, so there's an anomaly on that percentage price gain. But transaction management systems, number 2, construction and mining, coal operations, educational services, home offices, furnishings, and so on. Now banks were strong earlier today. Looks like they still are. And semiconductors were near the top early in the day, but you can see this group is up 1.16% now. And these stocks, 5 stocks right here in manufacturing, are showing signs of money flowing into them today. Now, for the money flow stocks to appear, their range has to be 50% or above. And you can see that on these semiconductors, there's one at 73, one at 97, one at 100, and so on. If you look over here to see what the intraday prices are right here, this just updated. This stock, COHU, is at $33. Let's take a look at it. Yesterday, or last night's close, you can see their VPA volume was above average on the spread, and the close was very high. So it was bullish yesterday. But as I look across here, I can see that the 3 was below the 6 yesterday. It's more than likely above it today, but the volume point of control turned positive yesterday. Also, the relative strength is weak in the stock. It's only 23 and 48 for the Kirkpatrick, but you can see that it's up $3.54 today, a 90.60. So just looking at this without looking at the chart, it tells me it's probably, the context is probably more of a downtrend than anything. It doesn't trade much volume, but let's bring it up. I'll just bring it up quickly. And you can see that using the contextual chart that it's just breaking above the 200-day exponential moving average. The 3 did cross the 6. It looks like today. It was right on the line yesterday, but volume's very light. There was a VPA flag yesterday. Let's see, that VPA flag is high volume. Up bar closing on the high indicates strength, but it's just trying to break out of this range right now. It's not really trending. So the context is it's been flat because all of these moving averages have converged, and the 200 was holding it down. You can see it ran up to the 200 here and failed, but today it's trying to get past it. Now looking up here, you can see that the industry group is blue. The group's been strong, but this stock has been relatively weak compared to the industry group, but now it's moving up. So I just don't see a lot in this stock. I don't see any clean pivots. I see that it's trying to break past resistance, but the volume's really pathetic. I wouldn't spend any time looking at this stock. It certainly would not go into a watch list. Now looking at it over here on the weekly chart, you can see that there's the closing bell right there. This stock is just bouncing all over the place. There's no continuity to it. It's not a good looking chart. So I just happened to grab that stock, but let's see if we can find a stock that is a little better. Now I am in the intraday money flow, all securities. I did that because I wanted to show you all of the industry groups, but let's go down to 1B. These are stocks that had a VPA flag yesterday. You can see looking over here, here's yesterday's VPA and here's the prior day. So this is an institutional brokerage stock. It's up 5% today. Poor relative strength once again, and last night the numbers on the Wyckoff indicators were not all that great, but it did close at its high. Let's take a look at it. Just because it had a strength seen returning VPA, and you can see that down here. Here's the VPA, which is strength seen returning. Let me, right here. I clicked on this over here, and that's what appears here. Now today, this is a confirmation of strength. It confirms the strength, and there's an effort to rise, which is a bullish sign. This stock pulled back. Now, just looking at the context of this, or the stock we looked at before, all of the lines were converged and the stock had been trading under the 200-day moving average. Well, it's been trading under the 200-day moving average on this one also, but the other lines are positive. The 100s here, the 50s here, the 18 has come down along with the 3 and the 6, but this stock was in an uptrend back here. It has corrected in the short term. So I'm going to zoom out by hitting my alternate 2 key and then my alternate 3 key. And you can see back here where the strong uptrend began, and then it just kind of has not done all that much over the long term. But it did pull back, and it looks like buyers are coming back into it now. It was weak compared to its industry group up here, but now it's turning up. It may be one worth watching. Earnings due date is 7/25, so that's a month away. I would check to see if there's any news on it. Now, looking at the weekly chart has been in a downtrend. Here's a lower low, here's a lower low, here's a lower low, here's a lower low, and we're starting to see some buying now. This could be a low pivot here. Now, if we get strength again, and if it takes out this weekly high here, that would be a confirmed pivot on a weekly high. I'm sorry, I meant to look at this. You can see this last quarter, there were in March reporting, it had a big boost in income. This is institutional brokerage. And you can see it's been under accumulation. Okay, now, that's just a couple ways you can use these. This is sorted on the industries up. This is demand. Stocks that are in this scan go to the top based upon demand. It's my combo, intraday demand combo, and I'm sorted on raw combo, and you can see what a difference this makes. Here's the intraday percentage price change. It's not an expensive stock. It's closed at 100% of its range. Volume was tremendous today. It's a specialty pharma, but it doesn't trade much. And look at the relative strength. Let's bring it up anyway. You can see that it's coming off of the bottom. But look at all these volume days, or pocket pivot days, and then the big volume spike today. When I see something like that, I usually go check the news on it. Something could be happening. And this is a consistently, it's seeing money flow consistency based upon these blue bars here. The VPOC crossed back here, the 3-6 crossed back here. Let's look at it on a different chart. This is my 3-6-18. Now we get a totally different perspective here because we can actually see when the 3 crossed the 6 on it, and it was a $3.70 stock approximately, and now it's up to 5.7. Now, this consistent buying here on this stock based upon volume and the candles mostly, but not always, closing near the top of the range. Profit taking yesterday, but look, it gapped open slightly and it closed high. Now look how it's been outperforming the group. The green line is going up. The group line is essentially flat. Now if you come over here to this side of the window and look at this with me, you can see that the volume compared to the 20, 50, and 90 over 1,000, 1,400%, 1,200 and some percent. So huge volume. Here's the estimated volume, the 90-day moving average volume. When you see volume like this consistently, that's so huge, something is happening, and it's worth watching. I'm going to add it or buying it. Maybe a little late now. Who knows? It depends on the news. So I put it in my watch list. Now this stock was showing up on money flow. I missed it back here, but it was showing up here and here. But what I'm really pointing out here is that this view, which is the 1A view, intraday demand, drove this stock to the top of the list. It was the most in-demand stock based upon my combo. The relative strength rank is terrible. VPA signal, none yesterday, but there is one today. But if you're looking for stocks where the intraday demand is, this is where you're going to find them. Let's look up Manitowoc. It's been down for 18 days. Terrible RS 11. The VPOC is down. It's underperformed the S&P. It's 11.53. I had no idea this stock had fallen this far. But it's up 9.91% today. Look at the volume compared to the 90-day moving average volume, 873%. Let's just bring it up, see what's going on with Manitowoc. Clearly been in a long-term downtrend. The group's been going down, and it's been weaker than the group on this green line right here. Today, it's finally stronger than the group. You can see the VPA flags have been good on this. Test, confirmation of that test. Here's strength returning after a downtrend yesterday, and also an effort to rise that closed on its high. There is probably news on this one too. I'm just going to quick add to group and put it in my intraday prospects. I like to do my prospecting intraday, preferably early in the day before these moves are too great. But these money flow indicators or scans will work for you. Let's look at some of the other ones. Now down here, when I get into the sector stocks, these are the S&P sectors. These are the stocks that institutions and most good traders trade. And when I'm sorted on this one, once again, this is sorted by industry, so I can immediately tell that construction and mining is on top. Communications, we're near the top based upon the industry, and then the banks. The financials are strong today. And as I go down the list, you can see that the weak groups are here at the bottom. The groups are weak, but these stocks are still appearing as money flow in stocks, because if you look at the intraday range, they're all above 50%. They're all yellow and green. So I'm sorted on the industry groups here. I have the same scan with the demand scan here. I don't need to change the raw combo. And these stocks are sorted according to my demand combo. And United Healthcare is up 4.69% today. The relative strength 61. I can see the 3 was below the 6. It went there 8 days ago, but the VPOC turned positive yesterday. The Wyckoff indicators, nothing special about them yesterday. In fact, they were weak. But volume, here's the range, and you can see the volume is well above. No VPA signal today, but there was a no supply the prior day. So let's take a look at United Healthcare. Going to get rid of this. Take it all the way up. So here's the VPA flag, the no supply from the prior day. Nothing yesterday, but today there is an effort to rise on very heavy volume. Big volume spike, and the VPOC turned positive back here a few days ago. Now this view has the histogram, and I also stuck an MACD in here. I know A lot of people like to look at the MACD to see momentum and so on. You can see it building, but I primarily look at my histogram because I can see momentum building here too. As these bars get shorter, that's my visual that momentum is changing on this stock. Okay, now let's take a look at the weekly chart. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. This is the kind of stock that can really drive you crazy if you're a buy and hold person. There's really no clear trend at all to United Healthcare. So it's an expensive stock. Of course, institutional interest in this stock, but if you're just holding this one, what are you holding for? Let's see what the yield is. Are you holding it for a 1.6% yield? No. You may be trading short-term options on it, but because the weekly chart shows no sense of direction, I wouldn't be interested in this stock at all. So how do we find stocks that have decent charts without spending a bunch of time? Well, one of the best ways to do it is to just look at the relative strength ranks. And that's usually a pretty good indication that they're in an uptrend. So let's see if that's true. Now, is true. And here's synchrony. You can see what a much better looking chart this is on the weekly than United Healthcare. There's no comparison. Okay, I'll zoom out on this one so we get a different perspective. You can see back here there was an effort to rise after strength seen returning. If I put a crosser on here, you can see that volume was above average here. So always, a lot of traders, investors never look at volume. But if you're a VPA user, of course you're looking at volume. But in addition to that, this is unique to HGSI, these volume pocket pivots. You can really tell when there's a bunch of interest in a stock when you see these big volume spikes either down or up. Look back here at this one. Volume spike here, no VPA, but the 3 crossed the 6 right here after this volume spike, and the stock went on a nice run. Now here, conversely, look at the rose bars down here as the stock was falling. So make sure you take those into consideration when you're prospecting. Now on the way up on this stock, you can see that it outperformed the S&P for a good part of the move up. Until we got to this point, there were only 2 consecutive weeks where this week did not close lower than this one. So only 1 week closed lower. Got up here, this was a lower close, this was a lower close, but not here. And only 1 down week here. So we didn't get the 3 lower lows to signal a trend change on this stock. So it's remained up very tight on the weekly, and many opportunities to get in on the daily just on the 3-6 crossovers with a volume spike. So I'm looking for tight charts. Ian used to always look at charts, and he would either classify them as tight, neutral, or loose. The loose stocks, the loose charts like we saw with United Healthcare will drive you crazy. So when you're prospecting, look for the tighter charts. It just tells you that a stock, if it pulls back a little bit, there are plenty of buyers underneath it to keep the momentum going up rather than being all over the place like United Healthcare. Much easier to analyze on weekly and then look for buy points on the daily charts. Okay, let's do one more here. Once again, these are the ones that had a VPA flag. And I didn't mention I'm still using that intraday demand combo with the VPA chart. So let's take a look at Wells Fargo today. Now remember, at the beginning of this video, the financials and diversified banks are part of the financial sector. They were up today, and you can see that Wells Fargo, pretty tight chart. This is maybe a little bit more of a neutral chart. It's all subjective, of course, but not bad. And you can see here's the first lower low here, second lower low, third lower low. So the trend had changed to down on the weekly chart with these 4 black candles here. Here's a higher high, first higher high here, second higher high now. So using that, if this starts up on Monday, that would be a third higher high on the weekly chart. Now it's sloppy here on the daily chart. Now I put on a bull debit spread back here, and it's been all over the place. I saw it go up here, and then it sank quickly, and then the past couple of days it's come back, and it was negative, but now it's profitable. That's why I like spreads. You don't get shaken out of positions. You don't lose or make money as fast, but it gives you some staying power when the stocks are kind of all over the place like this. Now I have a lot of other options in here. I'm not going to go through all these because this video will get too long, but if you just look down this list, everything is self-explanatory in here. Money flow in, money flow out. Here's one, money flow in and out with sector stocks, but also I included some ETFs in there. Let's see if there are any ETFs that appear today. 20-year, short 20-year treasury today. Yeah, look at that. So that's short the treasury. What's this one right here? The VIX. The VIX started moving up some, the Ultra VIX. It was a crazy day in the market, real strong at first, but I think it actually closed negative at the end. Yeah, really, I'm just looking. The comp closed down 126 points, and I think it was up about that much at the beginning of the trading session. Okay. Getting back to this, so there's a lot you can look at. If you want stocks with weekly options, intraday demand, I only have a demand view here. There's United Healthcare. It's in that group, and there's Wells Fargo. These stocks both trade options. What else is in here? Price change up, intraday stocks and groups. I put this in here so we can get a quick read on the number of stocks that are assigned to groups that are up for the day, 2053, and down 1424. So even though the comp closed down significantly, the internals were still strong. You can see up here 2053 up and 1424 down. So this is just a quick read intraday to see what the strength is. Now here's money flow in for ETFs. These are all ETFs. There's the regional banks, Direxion 3X, and money flow out. But you can see that if you go through these, you'll see that the individual stocks will pretty much correspond to what's happening in the ETFs. Here's the regional banking ETF. Remember, Wells Fargo, took a look at it. And then this is after you rebuild the industry groups intraday. And this is money flow in when applied to the industry groups. I don't use this much, but I just put it in there. So that's money flow in and out. I just wanted to show that to you. I want to show you one more thing, and then I'm going to call it quits. If you want to go over here to the designer and go to the custom groups, if you want to apply this to stocks with decent option volume or the top 50 for the day, just go to the most recent, click through, and you can see that I'm now in the most recent group. And then this would be money flow in. I use it primarily on the demand. So how many? 13 of the 50 were in because they had a range of at least 50%, and these are the stocks within the top 50 today. Now let's go see how many appeared in the money flow out. Here we are. And you can see that 22 of them were down that did not follow through today, that had a range below 50. So that's just a quick way to go in and analyze these top 50 stocks after the market opens to see which ones are going up and which ones are going down. So I'm going to go back to the intraday money flow in. You can see that these are mostly high relative strength stocks. And these are the stocks that if there's demand, they have a good chance of going higher. Let's just take a quick look at these stocks. Look at this. ACI Worldwide. I'm just going to flip through every one of these and look at the chart as I do that. These are all trending up. Let me make this a little bit smaller so we can, well, I don't need the designer open. You can see I'll start again. Look at the weekly chart too. Beautiful chart. Tight with a slight correction there. Tight chart on the weekly and the daily. Neutral to loose. Tight over here though. Transmetic. Tight chart. Tight to neutral right here. Tight on the weekly, tight on the daily. Loose, neutral to loose, but tight over here after the buy. Look at these blue bars down here. Z-scaler, tight over here, tight on the way down. It's in consolidation, tightening up, but the buy is over here. Look at the blue bars down here. Carnival, this one's been going up over the past few days on earnings. Loose on the weekly, but tightening them up. Pegasystems, I'd say neutral to loose. This has been down, but trying to go. Monday.com, this is neutral to loose. I'd say more loose than neutral. You can see the big gap up, move up, big volume spikes right here. Big white candle with a blue volume spike moving up. Planetar Technologies, the other day, I have a spread on this one too, and some brokerage firm came out and said it's overvalued. So what do the sheep do? They just start bailing out, and I went from being very positive to negative, and now buyers came back in, and it's a profitable stock once again because I didn't get shaken out. And let's look at one more here. Tight, neutral, tightening up, gap up probably on earnings. Anyway, I just want to show you, you can let the program pick the top 50 for you, and then you can just use these intraday scans to scan and look for prospects. Have a good weekend. Next week's the 4th of July, so I don't know. I'll probably do some more videos. I know a lot of you know me. Many of you don't know me. But I got some really good news last week from my oncologist. I've got multiple myeloma, but 3 years ago I went in for CAR T therapy. It was a new therapy at the time, and the all traces of the cancer have disappeared so far. So I'm feeling good about that. And why I'm telling you this is I plan to be more active with videos and on the Skype board and so on. I was waiting to get that report. So thanks for listening, and I'll be talking to you or showing you videos soon. Remember to put your playback on high quality for the YouTube videos.